Yeah! The expansion draft hasn't even started yet, and we already know, thanks to some insiders, Frank Saravalli, Elliot Friedman, Renaud Lavoie, pick your poison. We already know that Carey Price will not be selected by the Seattle Kraken in the expansion draft. I am relieved, and from what I can tell, there are a ton of Habs fans that are as well. I could not picture Carey in another jersey, and like I mentioned in previous videos, I was convinced Seattle was going to take him, and I wholeheartedly believe, I may be wrong, and that's fine, but I wholeheartedly believe that the Seattle Kraken should have taken Carey Price. Of course, the injury status is coming into effect here and his contract. However, I think coupled with that, and likely the bigger reason why they didn't take him, and especially now seeing the Seattle Kraken roster, I don't think this management team expects to be competitive right out of the gate like Vegas was. It seems like they're targeting guys with low cap hits, younger players that still have restricted free agent status, whether that's to hold them under team control for as long as they can, or to use them as trade pieces to upgrade their team, whether that's in the short term or the long term. And if you draft Carey Price, he's going to help you compete eventually when he gets healthy. But again, looking at this roster, Carey alone wouldn't have made them competitive enough to seriously compete for playoff spots and cup runs, likely just enough to hold them back from getting draft lotto picks. And from what I can tell, this is going to be a old school expansion team, and they're likely going to be looking to build through the draft here and get some high picks over the next couple years. Because from what I'm seeing, I don't know. So I think all those three things together is likely why they didn't. But personally, you don't get opportunities to add a player of Carey's stature to your roster. He would have made that franchise legitimate right out of the bat. Not only, in the public eye, but in the locker room with all the players they have drafted. And I think he could have been a good piece for them, but that is now not the case. He is remaining a Montreal Canadian. And like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe the wise choice was to go with Cale Fleury. And I do think that was a great pick by the Seattle Kraken. Cale Fleury, a young right-handed defenseman. He's got great size. He's capable of playing bottom pair minutes in the NHL right out of the gate. He has potential to become a strong top four shutdown defenseman. Couple that with the fact they're drafting Hayden Fleury, his brother, out of Anaheim. I think that's really interesting. I'm happy for the Fleury brothers. Hayden a lefty, Caden a righty. They could actually become a defense pair for the Seattle Kraken, which is pretty cool. Now, that being said, I hate to see Cale Fleury go. I really liked him as a right-handed defense prospect for us. I enjoyed watching him play for those 41 games in the NHL. A couple years ago, his reverse hits, his physicality. He's responsible defensively. And not only that, he's one of our few right-handed defense prospects. That just leaves us now really with Josh Brook. And he's a good prospect too, but we are definitely thin in that area now. And with, Shea Weber getting up there in age, Jeff Petrie as well, that's definitely an area of concern. And I will not be surprised to see Marc Bergevin target right-handed defensemen in this upcoming NHL entry draft, as well as an NHL-ready right-handed defenseman in this offseason, especially considering Shea Weber will be out likely long-term with injuries, and we're going to need someone on that right side to eat up some minutes. Now, I also just want to point out here, just the... Carey deserves a ton of credit for what he did here to keep Jake Allen safe. It is crucial and very important to this team to have strong goaltending depth going into next season, especially considering Carey is also dealing with injury issues. So for him to put the team on his back yet again and make his no movement clause not be something that hinders this team and hurts this team, all respect to the guy. He's just continuing to show what type of strong leader he is. It was his idea to waive his no movement clause to be exposed to the Seattle Kraken. For personal reasons, you got to think he, wouldn't have been totally heartbroken to be going to Seattle. I'm not so sure he would have waived the no-move clause if it was any other, city that was drafting. But nonetheless, he did it. It worked. Marc Bergevin deserves some credit. I want to give it mostly to Carey Price, but Bergevin some credit as well for once again maneuvering through an expansion draft and coming out generally unscathed. The last one, we lost Alexei Yemelin. This one, a bit more of a valuable piece going the other way in Cale Fleury, but it doesn't really hurt us in the short term. And it's a loss that I do believe we can survive, considering the strong prospect pool. There is Matthias Norlinder, who, even though he's a lefty, plays a lot on the right-handed side. Romanov has shown he can play on the right-handed side, and he'll continue to get better. Plus all the draft picks we have, we're going to be able to figure this out. And I'm quite confident Marc Bergevin is gonna make the loss of Cale Fleury not sting as much. The other thing, I understand there's probably a decent amount of Habs fans that probably would have preferred the 10.5 million cap space over the next 5 years if Seattle were to take Carey Price. It would have been cool to witness the offseason with that added cap space. And, I know there's a lot that's said about the Habs spending so much on goaltending and it not being possible to win that way, but they just proved that it is possible. They got very close to the Stanley Cup, making it to the Cup final with the duo of Carey Price and Jake Allen, and I'm very excited for them to stay together. Jake Allen, his professionalism has been such a huge positive for this team. He's taken his role behind Carey in stride. He's a veteran winner, and he's capable of being a starter. So being able to keep him was absolutely crucial moving forward. I cannot say that enough. All in all, I am very pleased with how this turned out for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm psyched for Carey to finish out his contract in Montreal, retire a Montreal Canadian. He has so much more impact left to have on this team. I'm very confident he's going to be coming back to play some elite level hockey in the crease for us. And not only that, his impact within the city of Montreal, what he does with his ambassadorship and his philanthropy, you just can't say enough of what a stand-up human being he is. So I'm absolutely psyched he's remaining with the Montreal Canadiens. But of course, he is going to see a doctor on Thursday, tomorrow, to get that hip looked at, to get that knee looked at, and he may require surgery. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. And if he does indeed require surgery and will be out for an extended period of time, Marc Bergevin is also likely going to have to find some more depth in goal, maybe a veteran backup for Jake Allen. I figure they'll probably want Caden Primo to continue developing as a starter in Laval. I don't think you'll want to see him sitting on the bench for the most part in Montreal. So unless he's going to come into Montreal and play and share the starting position with Jake Allen, you got to think he's going to be in Laval. And a veteran backup would not hurt this team as well. So that'll have to be looked at. But overall, again, very happy with how this turned out. I'm interested to see what you guys think. And of course, going to check out the Seattle Kraken expansion draft tonight. I was going to do a live stream, but decided not to because all the fun is kind of taken out of it a little bit, I find. We already know who's being drafted. My reactions wouldn't really be genuine, so I'm just going to leave it where it is, put this piece of content up for you guys. And again, let me know what you think about all of what just occurred down in the comments, and if you like these videos, hit that like and subscribe button. Cheers, guys. I appreciate you all. just so much relief. So much relief. Go Abs, go, baby. Woo!